How do? This week's story is about Daresbury Hall, aka Zombie Manor. Now, the videos usually primarily focus on the photography, the history, and lost buildings, lost architecture, etc., and the story behind the visits. This week, it's mainly about the story behind the visit. Now, this place started off as somewhere we weren't really interested in going and turned into an absolute batshit adventure. Crazy story behind this place and our visit there. So, if ever a visit went down an Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole, it was this one. This place morphed into so many different locations all in one visit, and we didn't expect it. So this place was built in 1759 in a Georgian style, so very old building. It was used in World War II as a military hospital. It then operated as a residential care home for people with disabilities and closed in 2010. Now, we were coming back from a failed explore. I believe we'd been to St Joseph's Seminary in Wigan. We couldn't get in. This was before we knew the way in. We ended up spending many hours in there once we did figure it out. But this early back in the days, we couldn't get in, so we'd walked around the building taking some external shots, and this was a plan B. We always had a plan B just so it wasn't a wasted journey. We're not getting up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning just to go to visit a place, find out it's shut down tight and we can't get in, and then go home empty handed. Always had a plan B and a plan C. So this was our plan B. Not anything that we knew anything about, just let's go visit this manor home. We knew it as Zombie Manor, however, we didn't make any connection with that name. It was, or people in the community, when they discovered an abandoned place, if you was one of the first to get there and see the inside of it, etc., you get to, a lot of people name it and give it a code name. This stops it. It stops you naming it directly and it going out there into the public domain and it getting locked down or smashed up, etc. So you generally give it a code name, which I used to think were cheesy, but I get it now. I get it. So there's a lot of different names. I actually named the mansion in York Dollmaker's mansion, just because the lady who used to reside there made dolls. So it would have code name rather than saying this is Heslington Hall in York and watching people maraud through it and it getting locked down and etc. You just give it a code name. Then you have to research, do your research, do your due diligence if you want to find a place. Not exactly protects the places, but you know, it's just part of what we do. There's Katie's house, there's Dollmaker's mansion, there's loads and loads of different nicknames for these places. So this one was called Zombie Manor, which, you know, some of them don't make any sense. So we rocked up to this place. It's out in sticks in Warrington, Cheshire. Lovely rolling fields everywhere, and there's a driveway to this mansion. You can just see it set back. Now, usually when you go to these places, you go early enough that you don't want people to see you. You don't want to see other people, and you want to sneak in, sneak out. Nobody knows you've been there. However, we're walking down this drive, and all of a sudden, I don't remember any people being about initially when we got out of the car. We're walking down this track. Now, it mustn't have been the beaten track that we walked down. All of a sudden, there's people next to us, like walking alongside us, joining the route, walking in front of us. well, this is strange. They're paying no attention to us. Now, normally, you get seen approaching an abandoned building or someone's in your vicinity, they'll say, what you up to? What you doing here? What's going on? These people were all walking with some kind of purpose. It were almost like we were invisible. They didn't bat an eyelid. So we're walking alongside people, and we're not saying anything to them. We're just looking at each other. They're not saying anything to us. So we get to Manor House, and we fork off. We can see Manor House on us left, and we quick dart through this little bit of garden straight up to Manor House. These people keep walking. So in my head, I can't remember. I'm thinking, I wonder if there's a car boot sale or something like that. Anyway, quickly forget about that. It was odd. First oddity of the day. We walked up to Manor House. Try its door. Sure enough, French doors swing open. Now, you can see why when you see pictures. The place was an absolute hole. It was a mess. However, as you're walking around this place, you find things that you think can put a picture together of who live there. However, these breadcrumbs are all from different loaves of bread, different flavours of bread. They're all, it's so confusing. So apart from it being turned upside down, the place is a mess, but you can see it was grand at one point, and you can see evidence of someone living in grandeur. There's chandeliers, there's nice curtains, some a bit gary. So some rooms you're like, all right, whoever lived here, you know, quite well to do, they had some style about them. And then you'd see a random Walkman sat on a table, a quite garish statue on the mantelpiece, a weird record in a corner, a nice picture on the wall, like I say, chandelier in one room, and then you go into another room, there's a car telephone, like an 80s car telephone, bottles of Pernod and bottles of wine, racks of shoes, clothes, more clothes, and it looked like a charity shop. And the place was turned upside down. It was a soggy mess. It's not my style. However, we're walking room to room. I'm just taking photographs. We're there now anyway. To be honest, I'm not overawed at all with the place. I go there to take nice photographs of old buildings. This is just a soggy mess of a place, and I can't figure it out for the life in me. I have no idea. I'm trying to piece together some kind of story. Who lived here? What was it used as? Before, like I say, we go in blind normally. Before we do I do my research on the place. After when I get back, I like the surprise. And I can't figure out for life in me what the hell is going on with this place. There's like calling cards for some captain, businessman extraordinaire, man of mystery, global charmer, or it's just like I can kind of put the calling card with the amount of shoes and the shirts all lined up in the cupboards. I can't put a picture of this guy in certain rooms. They're quite stately. I can put him in some of the more garish rooms that are like more 80s, garish colours, modern lampshades, like lantern lampshades. But like I said, as you go from room to room, it just completely changes. So anyway, it looks like we're getting to the end of this explore. All these rooms are weird, and but we know what size of place from outside. So we think we're coming to the end. And Aaron, who used to be one half of abandoned Yorkshire when we went out before he emigrated, he got easily spooked sometimes if there were homeless people in a building, or somewhat unsettled him, he'd just go back to the car. But I don't know what it was about this place. I don't know if it's because we'd got to end of the explore, and he just didn't see a point in doing any more because it, like I say, wasn't a very attractive place. So all of a sudden he's like, right, I'm going back to the car. I think you were a bit spooked about something, and I'm not sure what it was. I don't know if he'd heard somebody else. I can't remember. Anyway, he goes back to the car. Me and Shane, my guy from Preston, so three of us went. Me and him carry on. We're getting towards the end of it. We do some upper floors, but it's dicey. As you can see on these stairs, the stairs have fallen through on this part of the building. We find another way up and we do some upper levels. Like I say, you don't want to step into these rooms. You stand on the threshold where the joists are, take your pictures, get back so you're not falling through the floor. And we get to this other staircase because this staircase is collapsed. We get to this other staircase, and it looks like a separate, but it looks weird. It's all of a sudden turns into more like your residential care home. So I don't want to go any further. I'm not bothered about modern residential architecture. It's just looks like offices. There's a can of oil, right? Old can of oil. So, oh, that's interesting. That's old. We'll take a picture of that. Take a picture, and we just goes a little bit further, and then there's like a corridor going off to the side. So it just goes down there right quick before we go back to the car. And all of a sudden there's this sign, fire exit this way, emergency exit or something, and like red paint splatter up wall. Well, instead of going all the way down back through soggy mess of a building, loads of soggy clothes everywhere, let's just try this way. We'll go this way, might be a quicker way out, and we'll see what crack is. And it leads to this concrete stairwell, almost like a multi-storey stairwell you find in a multi-storey car park, old 80s multi-storey car park, which completely changes vibe at place. Again, you don't expect to see this in a Georgian manor. We worked his way down these stairs, 2 flights of stairs, and it's all boarded up. Right, Shane, it's boarded up, pointless, let's go back. Anyway, he carries on walking downstairs to the boarded section, and he pushes on it. He says, Martin, come and have a look at this. And he'd pushed the board and he'd popped his head through, and there were a long tunnel. He says, there's something in here. Blooming heck, I wasn't expecting that. So we climbs through, and all of a sudden there's a tunnel that leads to a door. It says something about biohazard and what have you. Interest peaks, curiosity killed the cat and all that. You're obviously going to go through. Why wouldn't you? It'd been boring up to then, so it was starting to get a bit interesting. So we go through this door, and then things start changing. Then we start seeing weird graffiti, and we're not sat there or stood there going, let's figure out what this place is. We're quite on edge at this point. It's gone from a boring explore to something that's like Twilight Zone. You've gone from a boring house to something that's very quickly visually becoming very creepy. So there's like an outbuilding part, which we go to first and look outside and see a security van. well, we can't see any movement. We've not heard anything. Maybe it's just parked there just to scare people. And then we start seeing wheelchairs just dumped. We start seeing like blood splatter up walls and all these scrawlings on the wall. And as we're moving from room to room, we're noticing more and more weird stuff. Like you'll see in some of these pictures. Don't trust the American, the midget is infected and stuff. And it's nothing's clicked yet. We're just like, what the hell? Where's this place come from? We just thought we're a square, Georgian Manor. We went in, worked his way up rooms, back out. But all of a sudden, I don't know if we're underground or not, but there's corridors and buildings everywhere. So we're snaking his way through these corridors and like completely freaked out. And again, every room's different. So one room looks like an old garage. One room looks like some kind of makeshift hospital ward operating. There looks like there's blood splattered everywhere, old scraggy plastic curtains, graffiti daubed all over, and every room looks different, like a film set, but like a makeshift apocalyptic type film set. And as we're still not heard anyone at this point, we're still sneaking through, but we're on edge because we don't know if it makes it feel, the vibe, the visuals make it feel like someone's going to bloody jump out on you any minute. We finally gets to this room that looks like a hospital ward, and there's a door at the end and we can see some sunlight. We walk through this door and it changes again. There's a big outdoor swimming pool. It looks like a big outdoor pool. Now this is where I got the only shot that I would consider putting on my wall, and it looked beautiful. It was just my kind of look, texture, lighting, abandonment, decay. So like, what the hell is this place? What is going on? We've gone from a manor house to a residential home to some sort of apocalyptic film set to an outdoor swimming pool, and we're just baffled by this point. Still not heard anyone, seen a soul. And there's all these grounds outside. It's all overgrown, big trees everywhere. There's other outbuildings, and we're like, right, this is weird. Let's just go. Anyway, we just spot some buildings just outside of us, literally 6 foot away. So we go through this building, up these stairs. It's changed again. It's like some cheesy 80s style buildings. The decor, the fixtures and fittings, it looks like it's been abandoned in the 80s and half done, if you kind of get what I mean. Like it's never quite been finished. It's not even decaying. It's all plastic and weird mirrors and chrome and gaudy 80s vibe. So again, just as we're about to go on, it throws us another curveball, this place. I can't understand where all these buildings have come from. Like, my sense of direction isn't good anyway, so if I think I can map a place out in my head just by walking around it, I'm completely wrong anyway, because I'm not good at navigation. You can spin me around 3 times in a room that I know, and I'll struggle to find my way out. So we're in this 80s style, weird bedrooms and ugh. So we have a quick look round. Of course, we're there. We're going to have a quick nosy, few photographs. There's lots of mirrors. Let's take some weird pictures. You can see yourselves in both mirrors and stuff. Again, we're just about to go. The silence is shattered, like a bomb's gone off, and all this shouting and carrying on. So, big explosion outside one of these rooms. Bear in mind, this room is kind of, we've gone up to the second floor. As you get to this patio, there's a drop down into some bushes and a walk, like a track. So there's no way out of this patio unless you drop 10-12 foot. There's an explosion outside it. And I mean, it sounded like a bomb had gone off. I absolutely crapped myself, so did Shane. We looked at each other like, is that? We froze. And then immediately all this shouting and carrying on, going on. And then like a shotgun went off. And this is all right outside this gaudy 80s room. And it's like a shotgun went off. Well, it sounded like a shotgun. And then you can hear crack of pistols and stuff. And it sounds like a bloody war zone. Now, we've not heard a peep all day. We've not seen anyone. We were on edge during the apocalyptic part of it. We'd calmed down a bit. We'd got into this 80s part. And now there's a bloody war going off outside. The penny finally drops after we peep outside. Shane's looking outside. And you can see people in military gear running about with AK-47s or whatever, and goggles on. So it's an airsoft place, but these guys are taking it seriously. These weapons that they've got sound as real as anything I've heard. It sounded like a war zone. Now, if airsoft's that good, I can understand why you do it. My God, was that realistic? They were throwing grenades that were exploding with the sound of an explosion. The shotguns sounded like shotguns. These guys are going absolutely nuts outside. Two things we can't do now. So we can't just go, guys, we're trapped in here, sorry, we've ruined your game, just stop what you're doing, let us go. No, this is serious to these guys. We're not stopping them. When they've just started a game, I don't want to get shot by these guys, whether it's airsoft or not. The second thing I don't want to do is get accidentally shot. So we're trapped in this room and there's no way out, and there's a war going on outside. We don't know if it's going to make its way into the room we're in, but we can't just launch ourselves straight into the middle of this battle unprotected, no eye gear on, risk upsetting God knows how many people, or risk getting shot. We eventually, after half an hour being cooped up in this room, there were a bit of a lull in play. It just got with last cracks of gunshot, and then there seemed to be like 10 seconds where we didn't hear out. That was our cue. We shot downstairs across this track, up to a wall with barbed wire fencing, launched over that, bags over into this cornfield or whatever it was, and we shot through it. We don't know if anyone saw us or not, but that was our way out. Honest to God, we're in this cornfield and we're like, what the hell has just happened? What's Aaron missed? Aaron's in car, he's been asleep. We gets back to the car. He wakes up. Alright, yeah, you're back. Says, you've been asleep for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Have I? Well, what have you been doing? You won't believe what you've missed. You will not believe it. So that was, I've had some crazy experiences, but that far going south as fast as it did and as weird as it did, that's got to be one of the weirdest places I've been. Obviously, when we get back, we look into it. It's, you know, it's in a big airsoft place. That would, you know, the people that were going and walking alongside us were all going to get set up. And I've got one other thing to mention, guys, is the website is up and running now, abandonedyorkshire.com. And with the advent of the Facebook page being revitalised, I've not done a lot of photography stuff for quite a few years. It's only recently that I've decided to give it all another go. The YouTube channel is going well, and the Facebook page, fantastic. I've got email subscription list, which is brilliant, and my website is now up and running, abandonedyorkshire.com. I've also revisited the book that I brought out quite a few years ago. So the first edition book, I did sit on quite a lot of copies of this, put it into storage, didn't really push it as much as I should have done back then. Sold what I needed to pay for the Kickstarter campaign, and sat on boxes and boxes of these books. These are now on the website. So there's quite a lot of interest in these. Sold a few copies yesterday, quite a few copies the day before. There's limited amounts of these books. You can't get these anywhere. They're not a generic Waterstones book or something you can buy on Amazon. These are handcrafted 12 by 12 coffee table books, hardback, the nicest paper, big 96 page colour photo book of a lot of the places I've been in Yorkshire, the UK and parts of Europe. So when these books sell out, I will then be looking at the second book, which I hope will be in the pipeline this year. So go to abandonedyorkshire.com, click on the first edition book. If you're interested in a copy, just go to the contact page, drop me a message, and I will do the rest from there. Once again, guys, thank you very much for following the channel. Thanks for listening to my stories. Thanks for looking at my photographs. I will catch you next week. Bye bye.